That's right. We're talking about the cost of the fuel price. Are you feeling the pinch? The steep rise in fuel prices has pushed up transport vehicle as well as food costs. And today we're looking at how South Africans are currently coping with all these increases. Are they selling their luxury vehicles for cheaper options? Are they carpooling or even using public transport just to save on fuel? My partner in news, Gareth Edwards, in Johannesburg this morning for us to answer some of those questions and hopefully give some relief as to what we're all going through. Gareth, what do you have in store for us just in terms of what South Africans might be needing answers to this morning?
Yeah, morning Tamela, morning everyone. Welcome back to the Dome here in Johannesburg. It's all got to do with the cost of living, isn't it? So the cost of fuel going up, the interest rates going up as well. And one of the big things that we've been talking about the past few weeks, haven't we, is what are the options for those who are looking to maybe get rid of their car? Do you maybe get rid of your car, go over to public transport? The issue with public transport is it reliable? Is it safe? That's the issue on that side. Carpooling, is carpooling a way to go? If it is, maybe you need a bigger car. It depends how you want to try and slice up the little bit of money that we're all left with to handle our transport costs every single month. So we're once again here at the Dome to this morning now speak to Wynand Beukes, Chief Digital Officer, joining us on the show. Wynand, good to have you on eNCA.
Morning, Gareth.
Appreciate your time.
What a place to talk about cars.
What about, yeah, well, how many cars here? I hear it's worth over 1,000.
Over 1,000, yeah.
So there's some options here. Let's talk about options, because right now people could very well be, and we've asked viewer questions where people have voted before. We've asked, are you going to keep your car, sell your car, get a smaller car, or start carpooling? And most people are saying if they could, they want to get a smaller car. Let's talk trends-wise. What are you generally seeing right now?
So if we look at the new vehicle sales, let's say, for example, May 2022, it was just below 40,000 vehicles for that month, which is about 2.5% up than May 2021. So if you take that in context of WeBuyCars and second-hand vehicles registrations that we get from the data system, that is about 130,000 vehicles per month registrations.
Wow.
And year on year, May, it's flat or at around 130,000 vehicles. That means that we don't see a big trend of more people selling their vehicles or registering vehicles. So, but for WeBuyCars, the great thing about WeBuyCars, we grew in the last 12 months about 3% in the market, in that specific market. So to answer the question, we don't see a big trend of people selling the vehicles more because the registration stayed flat for the last 12 months.
So when you take, with the joys of online analytics, you can get a sense of what people's behavior is and all those fancy metrics. What is the main reason, let's say between COVID-19, people losing their jobs 2.5, 3 years ago now, and the increased cost of living, is that a big driving factor for people wanting to trade in and trade down their cars?
Gareth, yes. If you look at the trading statistics in the context of WeBuyCars again, if you look what people are trading in and what they're buying after they've traded in, if you, for example, look at hatchbacks, people trading in hatchbacks go for hatchbacks again. But there is a trend for people trading in SUVs to smaller sedans, which is more fuel economic car. And we expect in the coming months, with the sharp rising of the fuel prices, that trend is going to go up, and people are going to trade down more in the coming months. We do foresee that.
So we're also seeing people not just from the online side, because WeBuyCars as an online platform is obviously brilliant. Everyone knows how it works. People walking in as well. I'm sure when you ask the question, why are you looking to trade in? Most people are saying, I can't afford the diesel.
Petrol prices, fuel prices, the increases plays a huge part in that. Interest rates, like you said in the beginning of this conversation, also plays a huge role. If you look at vehicles, what people are interested in the context of WeBuyCars again, if you look at our sales inquiries on our website, we can see that there's a small increase in increases in inquiries, for example, SUVs and bakkies. We think that got to do with people staying off working from home, trying to buy a bigger car but driving less. But the interesting fact is about 80% of our sales leads today is for vehicles under 200,000 Rand. Now that is representative of our car park in WeBuyCars, but that's the great thing about WeBuyCars. We serve the whole market. We buy from new vehicles to old vehicles, 20-year-old vehicles, across the full spectrum. 20 kilometers on the clock to 400,000 kilometers on the clock. And
Well,
the
so
same
Ferrari, I said it earlier,
so it's
400
from
kilometers.
50,000 rand vehicles to 3.5 million rand vehicles. So we've got everything here, and we serve the full car park.
I'm curious to know, do you still get a fair amount of customers that are going the other way? So we spoke about trading down, SUVs coming down, but because, and I don't know much about the car market, I imagine if you're starting to see more SUVs, 4x4s being sold, are you still seeing customers coming in and going, well, now that there's so many in the market, maybe I could buy a car I ordinarily wouldn't have before, like a 4x4 SUV? Or are people
there's
scared?
not so many in the market. That's the problem. With the new vehicle sales struggling after COVID to put new vehicles into the market, we see an inflation in second-hand vehicle prices that we saw over the last 18 months. There is a stock shortage. For example, the floods in Durban, for example, the Toyota Cross, which they're not producing at this stage. We're waiting for stock, and the market's waiting for stock on that as well. So there is definitely a shortage on, for example, Toyotas. So there's a big price inflation on Toyotas as well. So yeah, if you want to sell a Toyota, we'll buy it.
Now you know where to go. Come to the Dome as well. I also remember from the website many, many years ago, and I was looking for a vehicle back then. I'm curious to know, because obviously on websites you can measure every little thing that people are clicking on. I would imagine before it was specs, things like sunroofs, cruise control. Now, let's be honest, how many people are looking at the range of a car? I imagine that's probably one of the more clicked on. What is that car going to give me in a tank of fuel?
Yeah, that's a big inquiry. We need to provide more information about the fuel economy of vehicles. People are definitely inquiring more regarding that, definitely in these times. But we're trying to give as much information about the vehicle as possible, that the consumer can make an informed decision. But fuel economy plays a huge role, and we know that we can see that people are looking for that on specific vehicles.
And thank you very much for coming on to speak to us this morning. Wayne Bierkes, Chief Digital Officer at We Buy Cars. It's those analytics, those metrics, Tumza, that I think just gives us a real picture, because we can sit back, don't we? We talk to economists from a very high-line perspective, what's happening with the economy. But in the end, you and I and everyone else that drives to work, that owns a car, we're all asking that question. It's expensive already now to drive the car that maybe we bought 4 years ago. It wasn't an issue then. But now, 4 years later, that 3.2-litre diesel is starting to hurt a little bit more. So what are the options? And clearly, it's not just you and I that are thinking this. A lot of people that come through these doors and head over to We Buy Cars have got the same thought. How much fuel am I going to get? How far am I going to get on a tank of fuel? And what car can I buy that'll do it the most efficiently? So for the moment, Tums, I'm going to come back to you. But come back to me later, because I know many people are wondering, Gareth, you've been here the whole morning, what is the form of transport that I would go for? I'll tell you at 8:30 this morning, it's not the Ferrari. I can't afford the insurance. I tried. I can't do it. But I'll show you what my choice of transport is at 8:30.
Looking forward to it, partner, indeed, because trust me, those alternative transport, suggestions are needed at this time. Are we carpooling? Are we getting into public transport? Are we cycling, as you often tell me to consider getting a bike? Are we doing that? So I'll be coming back to you, of course, just to see exactly what you would recommend. Gareth Edwards out for us out at the Dome. All right.